When we think of medieval soldiers, we imagine clashing swords and glorious charges. But most of their lives were spent waiting, in mud, in hunger, in fear. They were not always in battle. Most days they were on the road, in camp, or watching the horizon. This is their story, not of war, but of what came before and after. The day began before the sun. A soldier would wake stiff and cold, curled under a worn wool cloak. No beds, no walls, just earth and sky. He might wash in a stream if the water wasn't frozen. Boots went on wet. Armor stayed cold. There were no luxuries, only habit and routine. Breakfast was whatever was left from the night before. Bread, beans, salted meat if the supply wagon hadn't vanished. Spoiled food was common, illness even more so. They drank ale or watered wine, not to celebrate, but because the river might kill them. A soldier learned to eat quickly without complaint and without expecting more. Armor was never far. Even off-duty, it had to be inspected. Grease was rubbed on leather, rivets checked for rust. Chainmail was repaired by hand, link by link. Some soldiers shared gear, others borrowed what they could. Ill-fitting armor could kill just as surely as an enemy's blade. The chain of command ruled all. Disobedience could mean humiliation or death. One word too loud, one moment too slow, and punishment followed. There were no second chances. A soldier had to move with the group, breathe with the group, suffer with the group. Loyalty wasn't optional, it was survival. Rain was the true enemy. It soaked everything. Boots, bedding, flesh. Fires turned to smoke. Blankets froze. A fever could kill half a camp. There were days when no one spoke because their mouths were too cold to move. But there were nights too. Nights when someone sang a song from home, when men sat close, shoulder to shoulder, and passed a flask between them. They spoke of ghosts, of omens, of dreams. Each one feared death. But together, for a few moments, they could pretend it was far away. Not every wound came from war. Rot, infection, cuts that wouldn't heal, toothaches that spread to the brain. There were no antibiotics, no comfort. Wounds festered. Some soldiers lost limbs, not to blades, but to boils. A few could write, most could not, but they still remembered names, faces, voices, a locket, a lock of hair, a scrap of fabric. They carried their families in silence, every step taken with one thought: I have to get home. And then one day the war was over, not with fanfare, but with silence. Some soldiers returned home changed. Others never returned at all. Some disappeared, into taverns, into forests, into legend. But they all carried the same truth. They were not just warriors. They were men who survived.